Well, it looks like the feud between AFC and CONCACAF is continuing, and in today's video, I'm going to be responding to some tweets that have been inflammatory, they've been out of pocket, and they need to be responded to. If you guys enjoy these style of videos, make sure you leave a like and let me know down below in the comments if there's ever something that you would want to see me and the rest of the crew respond to. Hit us up on Twitter, links in the description. Today's tweet is from Tactical Manager, who said, Jordan has made it to the Asian Cup final by eliminating Jurgen Klinsmann's South Korea. Head exploding emoji. Now, Jordan made it to the final, and there were people trying to convince me that the U.S. men's national team could not win the Asian Cup. I don't understand why y'all have to do this. Like, just because Jordan, a team that most of y'all don't even know a single player on the roster, just because they made it to the Asian Cup final, and the Asian Cup final is not Japan versus South Korea, does not mean that this tournament is somehow Mickey Mouse, or easy, or doable, or that there's any modicum of guaranteed success for the U.S. men's national team, Mexico, Canada. We don't even need to talk about the rest of the CONCACAF teams because they're getting grouped. So then I respond to this tweet by saying, the U.S. would not win the Asian Cup. Please stop. You'd have to win 4 knockout games in a row in hostile environments against teams with legitimate tactics and talent that surpasses 99% of CONCACAF. Asian teams are far better than you give them credit. I'm not trying to put Just Tack on blast. Of course, I'm responding to his tweet, but that's because he's kind of become one of the main spokesperson for the U.S. men's national team Twitter sphere. Okay, I got nothing against the guy. I'm sure that the vast majority of U.S. fans completely agree with what he is saying. They truly think that because the U.S. beat Iran at the World Cup, which we're going to get to that later, and because they got some fancy players who are good players at some big name clubs in England, Spain, Germany, that this Asian Cup would be almost automatic for them. As somebody who is a fan of Mexico first, right? The Mexican national team is my team, but I also love Asian football. I probably watch these two federations more than anything else. Maybe CONMEBOL is a close third. And I can tell you from watching the Gold Cup, from watching World Cup qualifiers, from watching the Asian Cup, from watching the World Cup, that the quality of football in Asia far surpasses North and Central America. Outside of the US and Mexico, and honestly, Canada, but with John Herdman, I'm not even sure if they got it like that anymore. Asia is clear. People look at teams like Jordan, they look at Qatar, they look at, I don't know, UAE, Iraq, teams like that. And because they don't have high profile players, they genuinely assume that the team sucks. I truly believe the best way to solve this would obviously be an Asia versus CONCACAF tournament. I don't know how you'd want to do it. Like, would you have number 1 in Asia versus number 1 in CONCACAF, aka like Japan or Iran, depending on the FIFA rankings, versus the United States? Or would it be something like, first seed in Asia plays the 16th seed in CONCACAF, and then, eventually it's set up to where they'd meet in the middle? But, bro, I'm pretty confident that of the quarterfinalists, it'd probably be 6 Asian teams. I've said this in other videos, but let's just reiterate it here in case you guys have never seen my other content before, which, by the way, hit subscribe if that applies to you. Let's check out the FIFA rankings for Asia and CONCACAF. We don't have to do all of these. We can do the top 10, and I'm going to do this very, very fast because I do want to get back to the tweets. And we'll just go team for team, pound for pound, band for band, who I think would win the matchup. Number 1, in Asia, we have Japan versus the U.S. men's national team. I think Japan, despite the calamity at the Asian Cup, would beat the United States the majority of the time. I'm not saying it would be an absolute stomp fest. I'm not saying Japan wins 9 out of 10 games, but they are the better team. Next up, we have Iran versus Mexico. I think this one is actually very, very close. Yes, you can say I'm biased, but truly, I think Mexico would give Iran a run for their money. This one, I'm just going to call it a toss. In third, we have Panama. Jesus Christ, they're ahead of Canada. What the hell? Okay, versus Korea Republic. I mean, Korea's going to win that matchup probably 6 or 7 times out of 10. Next, we have Australia versus Canada. Bruh, I don't see Canada scoring on Australia very often. I'm not saying the Socceroos are great, but Graham Arnold has his own defensive play style. I think it would be effective. I'm taking Australia in a best of 10. I guess best of 10 doesn't make any sense. I'll play basketball here. We'll go best of 7. I would take the Australians. In fifth, we have Costa Rica versus Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia clapping, bro. They might sweep. In sixth place, we have Qatar versus Jamaica. Okay. Now, this is actually a very fascinating matchup. I think over a 7-game series, I would lean Jamaica. This would be one of those things to, whoever gets that 4th game at home, if the 4th game is in Qatar or if it's in Kingston, I would take the home team in this one. This one's very even. Honduras versus Iraq. Come on, bro. Iraq would stomp the Hondurans. Like, y'all, I know Honduras, bro. They got some good players in the Scottish League. I'm not trying to diminish them, but you cannot compare their starting 11 to the quality of Iraq. Next up, the UAE versus El Salvador. Okay, El Salvador might be the most like down bad team in CONCACAF. Dude, UAE, even though they kind of frauded their way out of the Asian Cup, they would murder El Salvador. Uzbekistan, are we on number 9? I don't even know. Versus Haiti. Come on, bro. It's a clean sweep. 10, we got Oman versus Curacao, a team that did not even qualify for the Gold Cup. Oman sweeps. I'm going to do 2 more just because this is kind of fun. China. Asia might be in trouble here. China versus Trinidad. Oh, man. Yo, this would actually be a really, I'm not going to say exciting, but very interesting lineup. God damn. Could China do it in 7? I kind of think China could do it in 7 because I don't think Trinidad would score. And last one, I'm going to do Guatemala versus Bahrain. Oh, man, I mean, the Guatemalans got some dogs. I do think this series would go to 7, but I'm going with Bahrain. This is what I'm talking about when I say that the depth of Asia, CONCACAF can't match that. It can't match the tactics that you see in the Asian continent. A lot of the teams in CONCACAF, most of them outside of maybe the US, Panama, Mexico at times, most of them just play long ball and pray. Like that's really the game plan. It's just long ball and pray. You don't have the diversity of profile, of tactics that you see in Asia. Now, Asia is also bigger. I don't know how many teams exactly are in CONCACAF. I know if you count all the islands, it's quite a few, but you don't have the diversity in Asia that you have in CONCACAF. Or excuse me, I said that backwards. You don't have the diversity in CONCACAF that you see in Asia. All the domestic leagues in Asia, they're pretty much all better than the domestic leagues in CONCACAF, except for Liga MX and MLS. I mean, really outside of that, bro, the domestic leagues fall off a cliff in CONCACAF. So back to Twitter now. Tack responded to me and he said, I didn't say they'd win. I said could win. Fair. He did say that. The U.S. men's national team would be amongst the top 3 favorites, regardless of the tournament being in Asia, to which I said lots of teams could win the Asian Cup. And to point this or to back up what I'm saying, just look at who has won the Asian Cup. It is extremely rare that you have a repeat champion. You got weird teams like Qatar winning it. You got Iraq winning it. You got favorites like South Korea and Iran haven't won it since the 60s and 70s. Saudi Arabia, I don't know when their last one was, probably the 80s. The favorites don't always win this tournament. I understand why he thinks like this because Tack is obviously being a Brazilian American. He obviously focuses on CONMEBOL and CONCACAF. Those are his 2 areas of specialty. And in those 2 regions in particular, guys, the favorites always win. They always end up in the final. You know, maybe you get a Peru Copa America final appearance, and then what happened? They got absolutely dominated by Brazil. Sometimes you do get a Chile, okay? But let's not act like that Chile team was ass. And that was like a historic event, especially the fact that they did it twice in a row and on penalties against Argentina. But who did they beat? Again, in the final, it was Argentina both times. You're not going to see Chile-Paraguay in the final. You're not going to see a Gold Cup final, Haiti versus El Salvador. I mean, you would never in a million years see that. And you know why? Because there's not parity in these federations like there are in Asia. Now, I'm not saying that Brazil and Argentina are just miles clear of everybody else. Obviously, that's not true. Look at where Brazil are in the current standings. Obviously, Uruguay, Ecuador, Colombia, you know, even Chile, Peru, when they have good generations of good managers, they can test these teams. But at the end of the day, when the tournament is said and done, it is Argentina contra who? It is Mexico versus who? It is the US versus who? That is not the case in Asia. And that's not the case in AFCON, which I also brought up. And again, AFCON, same thing. There's a lot of parity. The big dogs, you know, Nigeria, Morocco, Senegal, yes, they might be better than DR Congo or Zambia or South Africa, but it's not enough to guarantee success or guarantee a finals appearance. Tack then said, where are all these Asian powerhouses in the Asian Cup? Oh, I didn't see that tweet before. Bruh, 3 Asian teams made the round of 16. Tack, you know that? Tack, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that to me. Don't do that to me. Japan beat Spain and Germany. Australia beat freaking Denmark and Tunisia. Korea beat Portugal. Drew Uruguay. Saudi Arabia beat Argentina. Tack, do not do that, bro. Come on. Iran beat Wales. Yes, the United States beat Iran. That does not counter everything else that happened at the World Cup. And you could argue outside of Korea, I think Korea had the worst showing of the 4 CONCACAF/Asian teams that advanced. I think Korea's beat down to Brazil. That was probably the worst performance. Brazil were too much for them. The second worst performance was the United States versus the Netherlands. Even Australia gave Argentina I mean, a legitimate scare, a genuine scare. And Japan lose to Croatia on penalties, and I'm going to maintain they were the better team in that game. So that's where the Asian teams were at the World Cup, TAC, doing the exact same thing, if not more impressively, than the United States. Iran are probably the favorites at this point in this tourney. U.S. beat them in the World Cup on Asian soil a year ago. Pretending like the U.S. couldn't win the cup is disingenuous. Again, it's not to say that the U.S. could not win the Asian Cup. Of course they could, right? A lot of teams could win the Asian Cup. It's the sentiment and the mindset that it would be easy or it would be guaranteed. It's the sentiment and the mindset that it would be semifinals minimum for the United States. That is what I'm fighting against in this video and on Twitter. I'm not saying that the United States is losing to Bahrain or Tajikistan or something like that, and they're going out in the group stage. I'm not saying that. I never have said that. And by the way, before, people say, oh, you just hate the U.S. One, I don't hate the U.S. I freaking live here. I'm an American citizen. And two, I'm saying the exact same thing, if not more so, for Mexico and Canada. I kind of understand and kind of don't why so many U.S. fans are clinging to that Iran game as like the one proof point that the Asian Cup sucks. Like, yes, the U.S. won the game 1-0. Carlos Queiroz was also the manager of Iran. The team was also completely divided by political turmoil at the time, different tactics, different stakes. I mean, everything is different outside of, I don't know. I guess the game's being played in Qatar, which I incorrectly said different location. My apologies for that. Tweets like this just piss me off. Yeah, the environment in Saudi Arabia is so hostile. Give me a break. Bro, I guarantee you what this dude is talking about is he's probably seen some of those tweets online where like 600 people go to Saudi Pro League games, and he's extrapolating that and saying that the environments suck at these Asian Cup games. Gentlemen, if you've never watched Asian football, that's okay. You don't need to pretend like you have. Obviously, you've never seen an Asian Cup match if you're going to talk about hostile environments or if you're going to say so mockingly. Have you seen the Jordan support at this tournament? Did you watch Iraq versus Japan and listen to the crowd when Iraq scored or when they made a slide tackle or hell, when they had a throw in? It didn't even need to be something impressive. Did you watch Saudi Arabia versus South Korea or Oman? Damn near any of those games. Did you? Did you hear what it sounded like when India got on the ball? I mean, some of y'all are so ignorant. The best thing to do is just not tweet. Haiti made the semifinals of 2019 according to this logic. Then Malaysia would be CONCACAF Gold Cup semifinalists. I mean, would the reverse be true? Would it be easier for the Asian Giants to become semifinalists at the Gold Cup? You goddamn right. You goddamn right. Because really, they only need to win like one. What would it be? One game? You go quarterfinals straight to the semifinals. They got a group. Iran's got a group with St. Kitts and Nevis, Trinidad, and Canada. Yeah, I think they're going to advance. I think they're going to be okay in that situation. And then who are they going to play in the quarterfinals? Guatemala? I mean, again, y'all, there's levels to this. There really is. But even this, like, I'm sure this was a friendly when Bahrain beat the brakes off Haiti 6-1. I'm sure it was a friendly. Like, I'm not of the attitude that friendlies mean nothing, but they mean little. You know what I mean? They don't mean a lot. And y'all lucky they don't, because I'm not even bringing up Japan 2-0. Okay, which should have been more. Shout out to Matt Turner. I'm not even bringing up the U.S. drawing a Saudi B team. Okay, I'm not even bringing those up as point. I'm not bringing up the UAE smacking the crap out of Costa Rica 4-0 recently. Okay, I'm not bringing up any of those results. Okay, because I don't really think they're relevant. Teams with legitimate tactics and talent, bro. Who? Oh my God. Again, dude, if you just haven't seen Asian football, like how do you want me to answer this question? Huh? You want me to take all 24 teams at the Asian Cup? You want me to break down their roster, highlight key players to watch, how they play, who their manager is, what their accolades have been, best ever finish at the Asian Cup? Like, what, bro, open up Wikipedia. Open up Wikipedia. Or you know what? Paramount Plus is like $6 a month in the United States. And they have every replay from the Asian Cup. So you know what you can do, my friend? You can go to ParamountPlus.com. You can sign up. They probably have a free trial. And you can pick whatever replay you want to watch. You can sit down. You can watch it. Take out a pen, a pencil, and a pad of paper. Take notes. I did say this for the CONCACAF streets. Because, bro, you are. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like, ain't no saving you. I can't help you. I cannot help you. Bro, shut up. You a El Tree fan. Didn't say that he didn't say that you a biased Mexican fan that thinks your team would do better. No, I think Mexico would do even worse. Show me where I said that Mexico's dog walking the Asian Cup. You won't find it. To his fairness, they could win. They're around similar level to Korea or Iran, whom they beat who they beat a much weaker, unstable version of back in the like again, I'm not arguing with Tag that it's a possibility. I'm not arguing with Tag that they wouldn't be top 10 favorites. I'm arguing against anybody who thinks that it would be easy or guaranteed. That is the argument. That is what I'm fighting against. Bro, the Asian Cup ain't nothing. Look at the team still in it. Lord Almighty, bro. So this is what my man did, right? This is what he did. He pulled out his phone. He went to FOTMob. He clicked on Asian Cup, saw the teams in it, hasn't watched 1 second of the tournament, does not have one iota of context, and he said, damn, this tournament sucks. Did you do the same thing when you checked AFCON? You said, DR Congo? Where the hell is Congo? This tournament sucks. US would be favorites. Some of these tweets I can't respond to because, I mean, I can't combat it. You cannot combat stupidity to this level. It's impossible. See, I don't think Tak is a clown. I'm not gonna. I don't have any beef with Tak. I just don't think that he watches Asian football and he's very familiar with it, and that's okay. Like if you start hearing me talk about Africa, bro, I'm gonna say some stuff where I look uninformed. Like that's just that's just what it is. I'm a super casual when it comes to AFCON. I'm trying to get better, but I'm not there yet. So you're gonna hear me have a howler take, like when I said that Algeria we're gonna do well this AFCON. It happens. It's just whenever you're uninformed like that and you're commenting from a distance, you need to be okay with receiving criticism and feedback for these takes that are largely uninformed. That's it. I don't think he should delete his account. It's certainly not the worst tweet I've ever seen in my life. I've seen plenty of worse tweets, probably on a Twitter Takes episode that may or may not have dropped yet. I can't let it stand. Like I see it, and it is my responsibility as an ally of Asian football, as somebody who wants to see Asia be respected. I have to respond. That's it. It's nothing personal. Yeah, the U.S. is awful anywhere that isn't the United States. They're lucky in that CONCACAF schedules all the tournaments and play in games in the United States. I mean, yes, the US is very, very fortunate for that. Does that happen anywhere else? Like, imagine if every Euro was in England or like France every single time. It's like, one, you already one of the strongest, if not the strongest team in the region, and you get to host every single time. Like, it makes a difference, man. It does make a difference. Oh, can the away team win? Of course they can. Of course they can. I mean, Korea are the away team of this Asian Cup, and they made the semifinals. Like it can happen, but it's a little more difficult when it's in extra time, when you're not playing well, and you need that boost from the crowd. It does help to have the fans behind you. It really does. And when they're against you, you can feel it. It makes it even worse. Every single bad pass, the crowd is going crazy. It's hard to check your nerves, right? Like some players, some teams built like that. It doesn't matter where they play. Most aren't, though. The vast majority are not, and it does affect them. U.S. men's national team Twitter ain't ready for that conversation. What else did you say? How far do you think the U.S. could go? I mean, to close the loop, this is a long video. I think the U.S. would probably make a quarters, semis. It's difficult to say because what path do they have? Let's pick a team at this current Asian Cup. Do they have Qatar's path? Will they play Palestine in a one-legged Uzbekistan? Because if that's the path, then U.S. is probably making the semifinals minimum. I don't see them losing to either of those two teams. Uzbekistan full strength, I think, would give the U.S. a real scare and possibly beat them, depending on where the tournament was being played. But I mean, Palestine, yeah, I don't really know if there's much of an upset potential there. It'd be a tough game, but I still think the U.S. has too much talent. If they have South Korea's route, you got to beat Saudi Arabia, Australia, Jordan, and possibly Iran or the hosts. Dude, I mean, you could lose at any point of that. Genuinely, you could lose at any point of that. I don't rate Saudi Arabia, so it probably would have been an Australia loss in the quarterfinals. But again, I mean, it's hard to say. Like, you would need to send me a fictitious path to the final. What does the group look like? Who they playing in every single round? And then I could give you a prediction. Everybody has like a ceiling and a floor for how they could perform. I think the floor for the U.S. would be round of 16. It would be a disaster. I mean, it would be on par with like not qualifying for 2018 if they didn't make it out of an Asian Cup group, unless it was somehow stacked. And the ceiling would be winning. Like, of course, the ceiling would be winning, but the ceiling for a lot of teams is winning. And it's the ceiling for a lot more teams than just Japan and Korea. It's a ceiling for Iran. It was a ceiling for Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Jordan, Iraq. I feel like I'm missing a big team in there. Jordan. Did I say Jordan? I don't know if I said that already, but you guys get the point. I don't know, and I can't say exactly because this is all pretend. This is all make believe. We have no idea where the U.S. how they play, where they would play, where they'd end up at an Asian Cup. But I'm telling you now, one, the Asian Federation is better than CONCACAF. It's stronger than CONCACAF. They have better coaches. They have better players on average, of course. And the Asian Cup just absolutely stomps the Gold Cup. It really isn't even a contest. And, you know, the CONCACAF Giants, as protected and as sheltered as they are, they would get exposed at this tournament. Who that would be by? Would it be the Jordan high press counterattack? Would it be the the just Tajikistan all-out blitz style football? Would it be China's unbreakable low block? I don't know what it would be, right? But the point is, it's highly probable something would go down. If something would go horribly wrong for a Greg Berhalter-led U.S. men's national team. That's the video, guys. If you enjoyed, make sure you leave a like. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. You can follow me on Twitter at @TheJackson. Link in the description of this video. If you ever want to talk ball with me or anybody else, check out the Discord as well. You can hop in there. We can take the conversation over there as well. We got an Asian football channel. We got a CONCACAF channel on there. Maybe we should merge them and just have an all-out war. I don't know. If that sounds fun to you guys, the link is also in the description. I'll see you on the next one.